morals decline and good men do nothing, evil flourishes.
Bugs Moran and Al Capone top the list of public enemies. Look around you. They could be anywhere.
J. Edgar Hoover's always been shrouded in mystery. He's somebody that had a lot of unanswered questions about his political tactics and his personal life.
He was an FBI director for over 48 years, and he served under 8 presidents.
The President of the United States is afraid.
Afraid of you? The movie is really about what one man, through complete focus and singularity of mind, was able to accomplish.
We must outsmart and outwit the criminal, foreign and domestic.
At times, he was winning the hearts of America.
Thank you very much.
And other times, doing pretty awful things.
Let us not for a moment lose sight of our goal, to teach the criminal that you can't get away with it.
I'm always fascinated with real-life stories just on a personal level, because life is almost always so much more bizarre than anything you could write on the page.
I always start with this idea that no one sees themselves as the villain, and I wanted to know where it came from.
We land with J. Edgar Hoover as a young man who's incredibly ambitious, motivated by his mother to succeed in Washington.
You will rise to be the most powerful man in the country. I think she wants everything for him. She's a bit like Lady Macbeth. And whatever he wants, she wants for him, and she wants that much more.
I want you to be acting director of the Bureau of Investigation.
She wanted her young son to carry on the Hoover name to great prominence and great power in Washington.
Did you leap like a dog?
I told him this is perhaps the greatest threat our nation has ever faced, and I cannot take the job unless I feel certain I can be effective.
Well done. But you'll take it.
And that's what J. Edgar Hoover did.
It is my belief that when a man becomes a part of this bureau, he must so conduct himself as to eliminate even the slightest possibility of criticism as to his conduct.
He was 22 years old when he started the Bureau of Investigation, which is really rather young.
I've got to get you all new clothes. You can't look like that anymore.
I have 40 names of suspected radicals already in only 4 hours. I should have 10,000 by the end of the month.
You learn about an organization which is a household name, and a man that frontiered that organization.
The more power Hoover gains, the more paranoid and strange and diabolical he becomes.
There were proven moments where he fudged stories a little bit, make him look a little better.
Lots of stories have been told about him, but this is a story that concentrates mainly on his career with Clyde Tolson and his trusted secretary, Helen Gandy.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Hoover. I'm Helen Gandy.
Helen Gandy is his close confidant. It's the one person he can trust with his secrets.
Miss Gandy, suppose I had private information on someone in a position of power.
She goes through so much with him, and she starts off as a file clerk and becomes his official office assistant and remains that throughout his career.
She was the closest thing, I think, that Hoover had to family, besides perhaps Clyde Tolson.
Did we receive an application from a Mr. Tolson?
Tolson's the kind of guy who really enjoyed staying in the background. He wasn't one for the public eye. He sort of ran the day-to-day operations of the FBI, handled the books, the budgets, the whole thing.
I want you to be my number 2 man.
I'm not much for the spotlight, Edgar.
These men had a partnership that lasted an entire lifetime.
Here we go. Rolling.
What is it?
Charles Lindbergh's baby's been kidnapped.
You've got to find him, Edgar.
I just want my son.
This isn't just about your son, Mr. Lindbergh. And Hoover certainly used that case to propel himself and the FBI into national fame.
You are under arrest for the kidnapping and murder of Charles Lindbergh, Jr. Do you know what all the power of the Bureau of Investigation means without federal laws, without arms, without the ability to make arrests? It means nothing.
He was a fervent believer in democracy and what our country was.
When I look at Hoover and what he did politically, so much of it is indefensible.
Now listen, I want a card on every radical person in this country. I want to know who they are, where they're from, what group they belong to, what they say.
J. Edgar Hoover was so obsessed with a communist invasion from abroad that he lost his footing on his position and his outlook on the future of our country.